We are headed to the very busy Fragment Coffee in the North Loop for a conversation about email marketing and the power of deep connection with your audience with our guest, Hilary Krueger. Welcome to episode 2 of Chats and Chai.
I live here in Minnesota, in St. Paul, and I have 4 kids with my husband, Tyler. I do marketing, content, email marketing for small business owners. Actually, not even just small business owners, any type of business at this point. I think like right now, when I first started off, my business really took off during the pandemic because everybody wanted to transition to be online. But now I get unburnt on being online. So now I would say like 40% of my clients are in-person clients, like
local
here to Minneapolis and St. Paul, even though we just moved back 3 years ago. I'm really trying really hard to transition to at least be 75-25, so at least have like 75% in-person, 25% online. But and I guess essentially that's what it is. I mean, there's a lot of like in between the stories and things like that.
Where did you live before?
So I grew up in Red Wing.
Okay.
And then when we first got married, we lived in Milwaukee. Then we moved to Green Bay, so huge Green Bay Packer fans.
My dad's there this weekend at Lambeau.
Oh my god!
He's never been, and he's not a Packer fan. He's a Vikings fan. So but he's going with a Packers fan.
Lambeau is literally so magical. I like tell friends who have never been there before, I'm like, even if you don't like the Green Bay Packers, if you go there in like 30-degree weather and it's like a light snow and you just like walk through the tunnel and you like get to the game, it literally just is like magical. You just like feel it, and it's like a dull roar of a crowd, like you can't beat it. I get so annoyed when people are like, oh yeah, like Vikings games, I went to a Vikings game. It's like, dude, you haven't been to a football game until you've been to Lambeau Field. Like,
that's what my dad wants to experience.
It's so good. It's so good. So then we moved back here when we got pregnant with our 4th baby during the pandemic, because you realize like when we're in lockdown, it's like nothing beats being close to family. So I was just all online with my business. We owned a CrossFit gym at the time.
Oh, okay.
We sold it to, it is getting busy.
Yeah, I know.
We sold the other half to our business partner, and then my husband got a job here in the Twin Cities. So.
And what do you like about living here now? Like, do you like it?
Oh man, no, I love the Twin Cities. I feel like when I lived here before, I lived in Uptown from like 18 to 21, and it's like completely changed, but in my mind, like in a good way. And I feel like if you get to the suburbs, you live in the suburbs, sometimes it gets to be a little like everybody's with their high school buddies, and everybody is like, I went to Y7, I went to Minnetonka, or I grew up in Hopkins. Like, but when you really, we live in St. Paul, like when we like implant ourselves to like St. Paul and Minneapolis, I feel like it's really inviting. Like people, and maybe it's just because I'm just like, let's go get coffee, and they're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just very inviting and like a different vibe that I really like.
I think there's more people not from there. There's like more people that are from other places, so it's not as like cliquey.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that this whole series is about, is like building friendships and making connections. Because a lot of people, especially when they're from out of town, they struggle with it, especially like the Minnesota nice stereotype.
Totally.
Have you found like a community since moving back, or how are you finding like your clients, and how are you finding people?
I mean, honestly, it all stems like, where are you drawing awareness to you? And that originally stems from social media.
Totally.
But then on top of that, it's like then when you just kind of have to put yourself out there, because you know this, but marketing is truly about opening a relationship, not making a sale. So how do you build relationships? Well, for a while there, you had to build relationships online, so you have to adjust. And I truly believe that like the best entrepreneurs, the best business owners, it didn't matter. Like the pandemic didn't matter, they just adjusted. And so now, I mean, one of my like best friends here now, he found me on TikTok.
Oh, cool.
And invited me to speak to his...
Who's that?
Josh Harrington.
I know him. Yes.
Matt
Okay, because Matt's my chiropractor. I know Josh.
So it's
I know
Matt.
Josh.
It's Matt's
That's
worker.
amazing.
But he found me on TikTok like a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and then he just connected me with Matt, and then Matt is literally the mayor of Minneapolis.
Oh, 100%.
So Matt has provided so so much for me. And I meet up with Matt and Josh like once a week.
That's
and
awesome.
we just, you know, their businesses are doing really, really well. And so just finding like who are good connectors. Another good connector who I've just known for a really long time, we went to Aveda with, is Liz Krueger.
Yep, I know
I
Liz as
pronounce
well.
Krieger. She's a Krueger, but we have the same last name.
Ah, that makes sense. Yes, I love Liz as well.
She's like given me like my cleaning lady, like
Oh, wow.
new babysitters, like just like connected me with a lot of people. And it's not finding people that are like really good at connecting to like provide something for you. It's just being genuine in like a friendship or a relationship.
And I think they're doing it without need for return. Like they're doing
never.
it out of their like, because both Matt and Liz have invited me to tons of events.
Oh yeah.
And like they don't need me to make a video for them. Like they just want me to be there.
Yeah.
And like but then you feel that want to reciprocate.
Yeah.
Because you feel like it's a deeper connection than like just like a social friendship.
And when you become friends with somebody like that, they're not just like, oh yeah, hi. We all know this. People are just like, oh yeah, hi, oh yeah, for sure. Matt's just like, hey, you want to go do this? Hey, and you're just like, oh my god, like all of a sudden now you're like inviting me to everything, which
and
is
it's
so
great.
fun.
And it's like that's what I think people don't realize about networking, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. Is like it takes some time to find those people.
Totally.
And then when you do, they introduce you to other people like that. The people that they found that are connectors. Like, do you know JC Leopold?
Yeah.
People like that. You know, like I want to have him on this series too. Like, there's a lot of people that are just like they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
They're making things happen, and they're including people. And I think I'm trying to highlight that in this series. People that are interesting, people that I think more people should know about.
Yeah.
Because it's like you want to follow people that are good people. And I think, I've been watching your Instagram, and I'm just like, I feel like we have a lot in common. I do a lot of marketing as well.
Yeah,
and like,
totally.
So talk a little bit more about, so you do a lot of email marketing. I'm always telling people to be building their email list.
Yeah.
How did you get into that? And what is like your strategy with that?
Yeah, so when we opened our gym together, we belonged to this like gym owners group of like 500 gym owners, probably like Twin City Collective. It was just like a gym owner mentorship, whatever. And the owner of it, he was like so adamant about like just writing all the time. Like he was just like, I want you guys to write every day. Like writing is a great relationship builder. It's very creative. And my husband has his master's degree. He's like, I don't want to write a whatever 900 million page thesis. I don't want to do it. And I was like, well, I really like writing a lot. So he just like working that like writing muscle and just writing to just write to like be creative. And I always was deemed like an overshare. Like my whole family was like, oh, there's Hilary teaching people how to cut a pineapple on Facebook Live, teaching people how to curl the hair. Like I've just always done that. Never gone viral, but I just was always like wanting to just share and engage because I was a young mom and not a lot of my friends had kids, so it was like social media was a way for me to honestly document my life and connect with other people when I was at home with kids. So anyways, combine that together, I realized that I was good at writing emails in a really laid back, conversational, story driven way that I launched our gym with my husband and our business partner, and I just wrote stories, and then we did a really big launch for something called Therapeutic Fitness, and I followed launch email planning, but I wrote the emails my way. Well, we ended up selling out both of those things back to back, and my husband is a very good, he's like Matt, like he's very outgoing, like very good connector as well, but I do think it was my launch emails. Well, then people started asking me about it, and I remember when I told my husband, I was like, can you just write this email? And he like opened up his computer, I like gave the kids a bath, and I came back and I was like, did you write it? He's like, I don't know how to write. Like, I don't know how to write in this like conversational way. So then I started getting people with like a very high level of degree, like doctors, like people who have their master's degree that are like, I can't make a sale with my email because I sound so salesy, so professional. I mean, think about it, when you grow up and you go to college, you have to have a certain amount of word count. So you're constantly using filler words to meet the quota of how many pages long it's supposed to be. So it's like everything you learn professionally You have to like do it completely different.
Yeah.
When you write anyway, that's how I do it. I do it different with email marketing. So it's more, I started getting like a bunch of people asking me about it, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna launch like an email marketing like story seller. I call it like a story seller masterclass. I'd never run a masterclass before. I just like threw it out there, and I ended up getting like 50 people to sign up for it. I don't remember what I charged, maybe like $10, $20. I don't know. And I was like, I guess people don't know how to write.
I mean, I'd buy that.
Yeah, so I started to like teach people how. I created like my own type of framework around how to write emails in a very conversational, story-driven way, because people like to buy, they don't like to be sold to.
Yes.
So my only flaw is that sometimes I get people that email me and they say, hey, I wanted to buy that thing, but I don't remember what email it was in, because I sometimes write so creatively that I buried the lead. Sometimes that happens because I just write in this conversational way. So I've had my own email list now for 5 years, and 50% of the time I don't even talk about marketing. I talk about like my feelings and my emotions and me as a mom, and like sometimes I write a poem, and so, like it's
like
just
a blog.
It's
almost.
literally nailed it. It's literally a blog that's just a way for people to respond and connect and build a relationship on a deeper level, in a one-to-one connection versus just commenting on a post. So that's literally what email is to me. Like social media is awareness. Email is to build a deeper relationship and a deeper connection, not just spew more of your value and your education. People want to feel seen, heard, and listened to, and that's what my email is. And some people do that on a blog, but my email list, and what I want for all of my clients' email lists, are to be a way to connect on a deeper level, so when somebody responds back, they know that you're reading it, and it's like this. It's not everybody's reading what their response is.
Yeah, it's so funny. I've always struggled with writing because I don't like writing.
Yeah.
So I'm a video creator. Like that's what I do. So how can someone get better? And I've actually taken writing classes. Like I've really tried to get better at writing, but it's just not something I gravitate towards. Yet I always tell people, you need to be building your email list. And I have one. But you're right. Mine is probably pretty transactional, because it's not. I don't want to spend my time on it. So I know.
You should.
It's just like,
that's what I tell everybody. You really should, because all your social media, all your video marketing they do is such great awareness. Even if you're vulnerable on your social media, email list is just like that one layer deeper. That it's not like, a lot of people have this misconception that an email list is to sell, and it's not. An email list is to serve and connect and build a deep relationship with somebody that you happen to sell to them. But it's a hard concept because email is so fucking boring for people sometimes, and I'm just like, you guys, it doesn't have to be that way.
I love that you're talking about email, because I have looked in the Twin Cities for people that talk about email marketing, and I can never find anyone. So you are my new person. I'm so excited.
That's totally me.
So you work with clients, but do you do any like classes, or how does your business work?
Yeah, so I work one-on-one with businesses right now. So like, for instance, like I just, there's a local business, he owns and builds saunas for people, so I have that. There's a mom down in Lakeville, she owns like a product-based business, it's called the Flipping Cup, and it's like this, she does great, she's really, really nice. I have a lot of people in the health, wellness, fitness type of community, just because that's, like, I know how to market and help with a lot of that. So I have 2 or 3 people that are local. I have 2 or 3 people that are, virtual, I guess. I would say that's like my niche area. I work with a couple of the guys. I don't know if I can say this, but I work with a couple of the guys at the Hockey Guys. So they're both. So the Hockey Guys are a whole, but then I work individually.
I want to interview them.
I can connect you. I
should,
literally was just talking with Mark this morning.
I saw them at Matt's event.
Yes.
And I was like, because then it didn't click with me until after, because I'm like, I follow them on TikTok, and they've just blown up. We don't talk about them, but like, they are someone I definitely am curious about.
I can connect you. I mean, I was just texting with Martin this morning. So they are a brand, but then individually they're a personal brand. So I work with 2 of the guys on their own personal brand. and their own personal things that
That's
they want.
awesome.
It's really funny because when I first met them, Matt also connected
Yes.
us, and when I first met them, I said, hey, there can only be one Beyonce of the boy band, and I feel like they all took that and were like, I'm gonna be the Justin Timberlake, I'm gonna be the Beyonce, because that's kind of how groups happen.
Yeah.
You become this great, amazing group, you have a lot of success, but as the years go on, there's only one Beyonce. And so who's that gonna be? And then I had two of the guys, reach out to me like, can you help me with my personal brand? And I was like, yes, I would love to. But right now, I think you can probably say this is good PR for them. I'm helping them with their product launch. So they're creating a really cool product line unrelated to hockey. And it's really, really cool. They're using Kyle at Profeshi for some of their photos, and they have a really big product launch line. But I've just been preaching to them. We're doing giveaways. We're doing all these things to build up your email list. You are going to sell 5 times the amount of product when you build your email list. I don't care if you just blasted all of your social medias, you will sell more if you have and talk to your email
Can
list.
you talk more about that? Because I've been trying to tell people that, but they don't believe it.
Yeah.
Do you have some of the stats around that? Because I know that I've heard it's for every dollar you spend, you make 36 back or something. I've heard that quote. Is that true? Or?
I think a really good way that I explain it to a business is that, let's say you're posting on Instagram and you have 1,000 followers, only 4.2% of your followers are going to see that post. So out of 1,000 followers, only 42 people are going to see it, which is kind of par for the course. Think about it. If you have 1,000 followers, you roughly get around 40 to 50 likes on your post when you have that. For email, on average, this is average across all industries, 20% read and open your email.
Yeah.
So if you do this, if you write an amazing post about your story and who you are and what you're all about, you'll get 42 people to read it. You take that same story and you send it to your email list, you will get 200 people to read it.
Yeah.
So you can literally connect with 5 times the amount of people if you just send it in an email. It doesn't have to be complex. Let's be creative here. Just go back over the last 90 days, see your highest performing Instagram post. How can you make that a little bit more conversational in email? Send it to your email list. That's the easiest way that I try to bridge the gap of email. But I think when I talk about that or I tell people about that, they're like, oh wow. It's didn't you create your business to create a bigger impact to eventually make more money? Why would you not email?
And I think it's because it's not as visible as social. And also I think we don't talk about it enough, too.
Yeah.
I think it's considered boring and old school, while social is flashy, but it's first of all, social also can go away. Vine, look at Vine. All those people that built millions of followers on Vine, and then it went away. Totally. They never probably built their email list, so they probably couldn't tell the people, hey, I'm moving to YouTube, I'm moving to TikTok, I'm moving to Instagram. There was no way to transfer.
You wouldn't believe how many, I don't want to say how many, at least 20 influencers with millions of followers have contacted me. I am not monetizing. The only way that somebody with 1 million followers plus can make money, like the hockey guys, is with brand deals.
Yeah.
You can monetize your following, but what happens when your account gets taken down and you no longer can make money because you don't have brand deals? I have a very good client of mine. She built a really good following on TikTok. It was about 16 months ago, and she had about 100,000 followers, and I was like, listen, you need to start building your email list now. She's like, fine. She did it. She started building her email list, ended up getting, I think, 75,000 people on her email list. Her TikTok got taken down. And it didn't bother her whatsoever. She sent an email to her email list. I'm starting a new TikTok. Here's where it is. Here's where we can connect. Her income didn't change whatsoever.
That is such a powerful story.
It was and now she has a new TikTok.
Yeah.
She's taking off on Instagram, and she has an amazing, powerful email list. And the email list is the nucleus of it all.
But that's also the power of building a personal brand as well. She has the connections to those people enough that they were willing to follow her to the new platform. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that integrates with email, building a personal brand and building it's not a following, but it's like a connection to your audience to the point where they'll buy it. We were talking about before we started recording, Matt Rife. Noah Khan. All these people are building relatable content that allows them to turn that into people buying from them because they trust them.
Yeah. I think like the misconception that a lot of people have that start a small business is they think they need to look like a big business. So what ends up happening is like trying to like hire this like fancy ass marketing agency to like make their videos have this like great production value. That's not what sells. What sells is literally taking your phone in selfie mode and setting it down on the table and recording yourself singing in the bathroom. Like that goes viral. It takes off when, oh man, I forget who the artist is. He has like 42 million views on this one video and his dad is eating cereal in the background as he's singing. That's relatable because you are envisioning yourself as him, as this artist who has an amazing voice, but you think, I can't make it because I don't have the production level that all of these like huge performers have now. That's not the case. That doesn't take off anymore. You are not creating content for you. You're creating content for the viewer. And 99% of the world needs to view themselves in a relatable, relationship-building way versus creating content for yourself. A lot of times people just want their content to look fancy because it's an ego thing. They're like, I just want to look like these people that I, look up to. The people that you're marketing to are an everyday person who doesn't even know how to edit a freaking video in TikTok. So just have good sound quality and record yourself in front of a window and have some good lighting, and you'll be way more relatable than you will if you just hire this giant production company to do it. And that's the misconception with email marketing as well, is you think that you need your emails to sound super professional, but it's actually the opposite. You need your emails to be a run-on sentence. You need your emails to have some spelling errors. There's really high-level copywriters that I'm talking to that purposefully have spelling errors in their subject line to get people to open them.
Yeah.
So it's like...
That's an important aspect of email is the subject line. Do you have any hacks for that?
I think like just concretely, like don't capitalize things in your subject line. If you read over your emails, what's like the BAM part of the email? What's the part of the email that's like, I always say like the princess slays the dragon and saves the prince. Like what's like the hook of your entire email? Make that your subject line. A lot of times people have too long of a subject line. If you just even keep your subject line to like 2 or 3 words, having like all capital letters, like it's just not it. That screams I'm selling to you. Having like fire emojis or like those like alarm like emojis, like don't do that. Have it be like a text message from a friend. When you're texting your friend, are you capitalizing every letter? When you're texting a friend, are you like you're just like getting right to the point with the first sentence. Like that's how your subject line should be. That's how your email should start off. It doesn't need to be this big grand creative writing piece. It needs to like get right to the point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I think that it's something that we don't talk about enough. And it's also, you're right, like because I feel like I've learned from marketing people. I've learned how to, and so I read the book. I don't know if you've read it, Email Marketing That Doesn't Suck by Bobby Klink. Have you read that?
No, I haven't.
But
But I do
similar.
know Bobby. I was in Amy Porterfield's.
Oh, okay.
A group of Amy Porterfields. Oh man, like 4 years ago
Yeah.
now. Yeah, but he was in there. Yeah.
He has the exact same, I think, philosophy as you, where it's a personal story and message and email sent out. And I learned a lot from that book because he kind of twisted all the things I had learned as a marketer. And it's like, no, you don't have to be salesy. People want the storytelling. They want the connection. Yeah. And it's hard. I guess for me, it's like, I just feel like I'm doing so much other content. It's hard for me to take a step back and be like, I gotta spend time writing.
I know.
That's my struggle.
Yeah.
That's just my personal struggle.
I think that if you like, even if you could hire like a simple like VA or something like that to be like, hey, I made this video. Can you just find where the hook is of this video and then turn it into an email, and then maybe you flow from there, but maybe you just need my framework.
Yeah, I need it. Well, I love frameworks. I have a whole framework database that I collect frameworks. So
oh my gosh,
I'm like really into
so
frameworks.
funny.
I have made multiple YouTube videos about frameworks. So
oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
so you're
funny.
talking to the framework queen. So, like, I want to do like a workshop with you. I feel like we should do a local workshop.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I'm like, that's like one, I've taught email marketing, but it's very boring and it's like the most like basic information.
I would think that a lot of people that join like my workshops or like my master classes or like buy my templates, like I don't think I'm a boring person, so maybe I'm able to like add some personality.
And I think we need like, I don't know. I've been hosting local workshops since 2018. So like I feel like that's the one topic that I think a lot of people need help with that I personally don't always feel comfortable teaching because it's something that I'm like I teach Instagram, I've taught video, I've taught like a lot of other things around marketing, but email is the one that I'm like I know the basics and I know like how technically to set it up. But when it comes to the copy, that's the part I struggle with.
Yeah, and I think that it is just, especially with people with like I just will say like a higher level of education, it's very hard to go from here, and it's not dumbing it down. It's synthesizing it for the everyday person. It's simplifying. I think that experts in really good fields are able to simplify complex processes. So if you're an expert, if you're a doctor, if you are a chiropractor, if you're an expert in that field, you should be able to simplify it down to tell that fifth grader what you do, how you do it, and your story about how you got started. Like, you should be able to do that if you're an expert in your field.
There's a really good book I just read about microscripts. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No.
Oh, I have to send it to you. It is a great book about writing. It's like everything should be like in a sentence. Like almost like how to like have your entire story be in one sentence. And I was like, this is so interesting. Because if you think about it, people repeat one sentence catchphrases or like so it's like it's a whole book about that and it was fascinating. So how do we find you online, like if we want to follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Hilary Krueger, but it looks like Krueger. My website is hilarykrueger.com. On TikTok, this is where it gets confusing. On TikTok, I'm Honest CEO Hilary. It was like a fluke name, and I just kept it because I worked for this like bro marketer, and I was like, he's a big fat liar, so that I just like had that be my name, and now it's stuck. So when people follow me on TikTok and then they randomly find me on Instagram, they're like, oh my god, are you Honest CEO Hilary from TikTok? Because I have way more followers on TikTok than I do on Instagram, and I'm like, yes, I'm the same person. I just wish I would have had my name on TikTok.
It's so funny because I feel like I found you on Instagram, so it's interesting. Like I haven't even probably seen you on TikTok. I've just seen you on Instagram, but that's because you're local. Maybe you were tagged.
It's probably local,
probably. But it's I am the local person finder. Like I'm like, if I see that you're in Minneapolis, I will follow you. It's kind of my stick because it's like I want to meet you in real life. You know, it's like we're neighbors basically. And also I run Twin Cities Collective, so I'm trying to get more people in the community. But it's just like I want to meet everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm literally the same way. Though that's so funny, especially with like being online, and then I was like home ridden for so long with all 4 kids, and now I'm just like, okay, like I need to like find some people to connect with here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think